Imagine living 40,000 years ago. No hospitals. No pharmacies. No modern hygiene products. So, what happened when a woman got her period? Today, there are countless products to manage menstruation. Back then, none of them existed. But women still had periods. Just like women today. A period is simply part of the body's natural cycle. It's not an illness. Here's the surprising part. Scientists don't actually know exactly how prehistoric women managed it. Why? Because most materials they may have used simply didn't survive for thousands of years. Stone lasts for thousands of years. Soft materials usually don't. Researchers have proposed several possibilities, but none of them have been directly confirmed. Life didn't stop because of a period. People still had to survive. So, if nobody knows the exact answer, what clues do scientists actually have? Menstruation is part of human biology. It didn't begin with civilization. It existed long before history was written. For tens of thousands of years, women have experienced the same basic process. A period was simply another part of life. Not a mysterious disease. But here's the challenge. Stone survives. Wood survives sometimes. Soft materials usually don't. That's why archaeologists rarely find direct evidence of menstrual materials. Instead, scientists must piece together the puzzle using indirect evidence. They combine archaeology, biology, and anthropology to build the best explanation. Researchers also study traditional hunter-gatherer societies. Not because they're identical to prehistoric people, but because they may offer useful clues. So, what materials do scientists think prehistoric women might have used? Let's explore the possibilities. Since the original materials didn't survive, scientists have proposed several possibilities. One possibility is soft moss. It's naturally absorbent and grows in many forests. Soft fur or flexible leather may also have been useful. But again, we don't know for certain. None of these ideas have been directly proven. They're based on scientific inference. Scientists are solving a puzzle with many missing pieces. Whatever they used, it had to be practical, using materials available nearby. Different environments offered different resources. People probably adapted to what they had. There was never just one prehistoric culture. Different groups may have found different solutions. So the honest answer isn't "we know." It's we have several well-supported possibilities. Periods didn't stop daily life. People still needed food, water, and shelter. Like everyone else, women still contributed to their communities. But remember, there wasn't one single prehistoric lifestyle. Different groups lived very differently. What worked for one group might not have worked for another. Daily life included many different jobs. Not every woman did exactly the same work. Some women may have rested when needed. Others may have continued their normal routines. We simply don't know for every community. Now comes another surprise. Prehistoric women may have experienced far fewer periods than many women today. One reason was breastfeeding. Long periods of nursing can delay the return of menstrual cycles. Combined with more pregnancies, this often meant fewer lifetime menstrual cycles. Ironically, many prehistoric women may have had far fewer periods than women living today. If prehistoric materials rarely survive, how do scientists study the past? One approach is comparing modern hunter-gatherer societies. But they are not living fossils. Instead, they offer possible clues, not direct evidence. Scientists combine many different sources of evidence. No single clue tells the whole story. Access to clean water may have helped people manage personal hygiene. Natural materials could be cleaned or replaced when necessary. Exactly how remains unknown. This is why scientists carefully separate the facts from hypotheses. Most of life continued as normal. Periods were only one part of everyday survival. As humans began farming and building the first civilizations, menstrual care also began to change. Around 12,000 years ago, some human groups began settling in permanent villages. Life started to change. Farming changed almost everything. Food, families, communities, and daily routines. As people settled down, they gained access to new materials. People became better at weaving plant fibers into cloth. Simple cloth became more common. It may have offered new possibilities. We know cloth existed. But exactly how it was used isn't always recorded. Now, something important changes. People begin writing things down. Once writing appears, history becomes much easier to study. Before writing, there are mostly questions. After writing, we begin finding real records. So, what did the first civilizations actually use? That's where history finally begins. Once humans began writing their history, we finally started finding real clues. Ancient Egyptians are believed to have used soft linen cloth during menstruation. Linen was soft, reusable, and already widely used for clothing and household items. As civilizations grew, different cultures developed their own solutions. Unlike prehistoric times, cloth became much more common. The evidence also becomes much stronger. Because people started recording their lives. That doesn't mean we know everything. But we know far more than before. Over thousands of years, technology slowly improved. So did personal hygiene. Today's options are the result of thousands of years of innovation. From prehistoric forests to modern cities, one thing has never changed. Women have always found ways to adapt. From prehistoric times to today, one thing has always remained true. Humans adapt. Although their lives looked completely different, their bodies worked much the same. Science doesn't just collect answers. It also admits what it doesn't know. Sometimes the evidence simply didn't survive. And that's okay. Scientists keep searching. Every new discovery helps fill in another piece of the puzzle. The best scientific answers often come from combining many different fields of research. Even after tens of thousands of years, the human story is still being written. There are still many things about prehistoric life we may never know for certain. That's what makes science so fascinating. Every answer can lead to another question. The truth is, we may never know exactly how prehistoric women managed their periods. But by studying the evidence and accepting what remains uncertain, science brings us closer to understanding our shared human story. Thanks for watching.